The rules have changed. A few years ago, a few people would leave WWE to see what else was going on outside its doors, but there was no obvious option. New Japan's always been enticing, but it didn't feel like it created too much of a fuss outside the hardcore. And then came AEW. Almost triggering a stir, given that Chris Jericho made his intentions known from the outset. We almost got Puck through the door, and Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, has utterly revived his career because of it. He's gone from another guy to the hottest thing in wrestling, and you have to imagine a lot of other people are looking at what's happening and fancy a piece of the pie. That's doubly true if they're sat under Vince McMahon's watch doing nothing. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this is 10 current WWE wrestlers most likely to leave for AEW. Number 10, Cesaro. Maybe not one that immediately jumps to mind, but absolutely someone who has just cause. Cesaro has never been given his due in WWE despite teases after winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and since breaking up with Sheamus, it doesn't seem as if WWE has any major plans for him. I mean, he got some new music, but that's about it. Recently, he has reminded everyone how good he is with matches against Rey Mysterio and Ricochet, which only refueled some fans' desire to see the Swiss Superman at least have a shot at the top of the card. The bar was fine while it lasted, but even that had run its course by the end. Cesaro was left to kinda hang around in one-off storylines that don't go anywhere. Could he shift across when his contract comes due? There's enough evidence to justify it, so let's watch this space. Number 9, EC3. I think we can all say with a degree of certainty that EC3 is never going to get a proper run in WWE. I don't know why, but be it his run as Derrick Bateman in the former NXT, or when he got called up to the main roster, the company just doesn't seem that interested. I mean, he was in the Battle Royal at WrestleMania 35, and in terms of television, we've only seen him have his ass kicked by Braun Strowman, and sometimes look a bit disinterested as he pretends to care about the 24/7 title. It's even worse for him because he proved he could do it in TNA, and there were glimpses of this during his NXT period, where he was actually allowed to have an opportunity. He was a viable contender for the North American Championship at one point. That feels like a million miles away. If he did move to AEW, not only would he likely have a bee in his bonnet, which would light a fire under him, but the freedom to actually cut a promo and have matches, he could have fun again. Number 8, Shinsuke Nakamura. Another call-up that has floundered on the main roster. The best way to think about Nakamura under the WWE umbrella is to remember what he did down in NXT. Wonderful matches against Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe can never be forgotten, as long as we hold on to the memories. Ever since he's been on Raw and SmackDown though, he's been presented as nothing more than a mid-carder. Put against top-tier talent, you still see flashes of brilliance, but disappointing feuds with AJ Styles where the focus was on low blows or odd gimmicks that go nowhere like the United States of Nakamura pulled a rug from underneath him. I know he won the Royal Rumble, but simply answer this. Does he feel like a Rumble winner today? I would say no. So with that said, AEW would be an awesome new home for Shinsuke. There's dream matches waiting there from the off. If nothing else, I would like to see Omega versus Shinsuke, so make that happen. Thank you. Number 7, Chad Gable. Another one that was good at NXT and then just vanished by the time they were called up. Chad Gable hasn't been given a chance. American Alpha were kicking ass at first in the big time, but as soon as WWE decided to make Jason Jordan the illegitimate child of Kurt Angle, Gable was left with nothing to do and seemingly no intention to give him anything to do either. He was just there, and as I'm saying these words, he just got moved to 205 Live. WWE also threw him into some tag teams with Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Roode, and while the latter had some momentum, it was never treated as a serious deal, even when they won the Raw Tag Team Championships. I mean, do you even remember that happened? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, because WWE doesn't either. So as he's pretty much untouched fruit in WWE, but has a good following, that's a perfect combo for somewhere like AEW who would rally behind a guy like Gable and give him his due. Never forget that he's a damn Olympian. The guy can go. Number 6, Ali. Poor Ali. Picked for superstardom until an injury at the worst possible time chopped him down. He never got another chance, and today, he's just there. It kind of got worse too, as at Money in the Bank 2019, he had his hands on the briefcase until Brock Lesnar's music hit, who proceeded to eat him alive. The worst part was the former 205 Live star had no idea this was going to happen, as WWE had decided to keep it from all the performers. That makes sense. Ali himself did seem a little annoyed by this, as he took to Twitter to say this was the most wrestling Lesnar has done all year, and ever since he's still been trying to find something to do himself. It's not like there isn't potential there though. He's had great matches with the likes of Daniel Bryan and Andrade on SmackDown, and at one point fans were behind him. They just stopped when they realized that WWE weren't. Ali would be great in AEW, given it's a platform where in-ring talent is considered super important, and it's a sensible move if he's not going to get a story soon. Why just hang around? It may not be the most shocking of moves, but it would be one that works all around, I'd say. Number 5, The Revival. A move that will surely happen as soon as it can. The Revival are clearly sick of WWE and want to leave. I mean, it was heavily rumoured a few months ago that they had actively asked for their release and got told no. Since then, nothing has changed, so I doubt Dash and Dawson feel any differently about it. There's also a built-in story here when it comes to the Young Bucks. Those lot have been going at it for years on Twitter, and there's even a joke in being the elite. You either know what FTR means or you don't, and if you don't, it doesn't mean Friendship the Revival. If that match ever got announced, fans would go mad, and it's only ever going to go down in AEW at this stage. The narrative is ready, and we just need our players under the same roof. You have to think the Revival are even more ready to hightail it too, given that one of their last storylines had them acting like their penises were on fire. Not really what anybody wants to do now, is it? And no amount of Raw Tag Team Championship runs is going to change that. Number 4, Gallows and Anderson. Given that the WWE Tag Division needs teams, it seems crazy that Gallows and Andersons aren't used more. They're really good, hence why when they first arrived everybody was excited. The pair had a good show with the Bullet Club, which meant there was prior relationships with AJ Styles and Finn Balor, and to begin, things were great. They kicked ass in 2016 and were presented as a force, smashing the Usos around the ring. It's been downhill since here though, to the point that as of June 2019 we don't even see them on TV. Who knows what they'll be doing by the time you hear this. And yeah, sure, they won the Raw Tag Belts at the Royal Rumble in 2017. What else can we shout about? Literally nothing. It's likely why it came out in March 2019 that they had rejected new deals from WWE and intend to leave when they come due later in the year. Surely that means it's time to head for AEW, and if they debuted at the All Out pay-per-view, I don't think anybody would be too shocked. It would feel like an utter coming back to form for two guys who deserve it. It's just a shame all around that WWE never used them like they could have. Number 3, Noam Dar. One that will divide people. Noam Dar at one point was a hero on the indie scene with standout matches in Ring of Honor, Progress and WCPW, now Defiant. Wherever he went, a bunch of eyes followed. After debuting in WWE's Cruiserweight Classic in 2016, and having a short run alongside Alicia Fox, Dar hasn't really done anything because he hasn't been put in the position to do anything. A horrible injury in 2017 took him away for 5 months. When he came back, he was on NXT UK going after Pete Dunne's championship. Really though, it feels like the Scotsman could use a new home after doing all he can in the WWE, and AEW could be the spotlight position that gets him back to prominence. There's plenty of underutilized talents in WWE's Cruiserweight division, but given that Dar stands out just a little more because of his background, he may be a nice fit. He could do a lot worse, that's for sure. Number 2, Rusev. Rusev is the greatest person to ever exist. I mean, he came out on a tank at WrestleMania, for goodness sake. Back then, too, it seemed like WWE were quite high on the Bulgarian brute. He was undefeated, had a decent US title run, and the potential was there. He may have been a stereotypical foreign heel, but clearly he could do more than that. A top guy's spot beckoned. Instead, WWE just went cold on him. Not helped at all by disastrous booking where Lana would be with him and then not with him and then with him again. He wasn't even allowed to jump on the momentum drummed up by Rusev Day. That seemed destined to revitalize his career, and instead it became a huge albatross hanging from Ruru's neck. It's mad in many ways, and there's so much more to him, and he's one of those guys that would feel like a big deal in AEW because he's had the slight rub of the green in WWE without being over-pushed or past his prime. As with many on this list, he'd have that creative freedom too. Either way, he does offer something different, and if All Elite Wrestling wanted to capitalize on that, I think it would be a win-win situation all around. Number 1, Luke Harper. Imagine having Luke Harper on your books and keeping him off TV. That is crazy. Not seen since WrestleMania 35. Before that, Harper hadn't been seen much since SummerSlam 2018, which just sums up how he's been treated post-Wyatt family. And yeah, some of this was injury related, but with rumours that a proposed storyline with Sami Zayn were thrown out the window because McMahon doesn't get Luke, Well, that doesn't bode well at all. How you can't get him, I don't know, but I'm not Vinnie Mac, in case you have been confused. Harper tried to make the best of this by asking for his release in April 2019, but that was denied by the boss, which also makes no sense. You don't rate him, and yet he can't leave. Okay, let's just have him sit in the back instead. It means Harper is there for a while unless McMahon changes his mind, but when his contract is up in May 2020, AEW should be all over him. He is one of a kind in terms of how he looks and how he works, and he can have a good war with anyone. It should probably serve as a good sign to WWE to not piss off all their talent too. Many of them are already eyeing AEW. Don't push them out the door and into somebody else's loving embrace. Know of any other current WWE wrestlers who are likely to leave for AEW? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and I will talk to you again soon.